Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is a condensed version of today's episode of Undisputed, handpicked with the best segments and discussions. Skip, Shannon, let's go.
Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Happy Monday, guys.
Happy Monday.
What?
What's
the egomaniac doing over there?
Do you like the
Look,
pink?
I'm on camera in my salmon.
I thought you would last but Skip gonna really like this today.
I'm glad you have that on today because you're in so much trouble. You need something to distract our audience. You just did it. Way to go.
What I'm in trouble for?
I like
I
it.
ain't doing it.
It reminds me of my days in Boston.
You like, what? Oh, Shannon Jen on that thing again,
Yeah.
Skip.
What'd you guys do this weekend?
I don't know what Jenny did.
Too busy. Too much to watch.
Oh, that was a good
I don't know
dodge.
what Jenny did.
We have so much to talk about today. We have football. We also have actor John David Washington is here. But I feel like we got to start this with Tiger because that was pretty special to watch yesterday. He was amazing in the final round of the PGA Championship. Tiger had the lowest score on a Sunday in a major in his career, shooting a 64. He finished in second place at 14 under and even closed it with a birdie and a fist pump on 18. Oh, and by the way, Koepka actually won the championship with Tiger 2 shots back. Let's take a listen to Tiger after his round yesterday.
I didn't know how many tournaments I'd play this year or if I'd even play. And so each tournament brought about its own challenges. And I didn't know what the number was going to be this year. I didn't know how I was going to play. And so at the beginning of the year, if you just said, I would have a legit chance to win the last 2 major championships, with what swing? I didn't have a swing at the time. I had no speed. I didn't have a golf swing. I didn't have, my short game wasn't quite there yet. My putting was okay, but I hadn't played in 2 years, and so it's been a hell of a process this year. But I'm in uncharted territory because no one's ever had a fused spine hitting it like I'm hitting it. So I've had to try and figure this out on my own, and it's been really, really hard. It's a lot harder than people think, and I'm just very pleased at what I've done so far, and now, to be part of the Ryder Cup conversation, going from where I've come from to now in the last year, it's been pretty cool.
Well, Skip, from what you saw yesterday, will Tiger win another major?
Allow me to remind everyone, it has been 10 years and 2 months since Tiger Woods won his last major championship. And since then, he has had not 1, 2, 3, he's had 4 back surgeries, including spinal fusion that we just heard him refer to, and that was only a year and 4 months ago. He is now 42 years of age. So I have repeatedly said, sitting right here in this chair on Undisputed, I cannot ever see Tiger Woods winning another major championship. But after what I saw yesterday, I take that back. I stand corrected. I was wrong. After what I saw yesterday, which was nothing short of near miraculous, I do believe Tiger Woods will win another major championship. In fact, I believe he can win a couple of more major championships. He's at 14, Jack Nicklaus 18, so he could get to 16 to the 18. I can't see him passing Jack, but I could see him winning 2 more over the next 4 or 5 years, because I saw something on full display yesterday I have not seen for 10 years and 2 months. And that was Tiger's killer will. That's what made him most invincible during his run, which was the greatest run any golfer has ever had and may ever have in the history of golf. But yesterday, he once again drove the ball shockingly poorly. He missed 9 of 14 fairways on a course with rough that was U.S. Open high and sticky and impossible to extricate your golf ball from. 9 of 14 fairways you missed, and you still shot your best final round score of any of your 80 major championships. You shot 64. You made 2 bogeys and you shot 64. You left a birdie putt on the lip and you lipped out a par putt and you still shot 64. It was just will. He just willed himself back into contention. 3 times he was within 1 shot of Brooks Koepka and the lead, just on sheer will. willing iron shots that knock down the pin, willing escape shots, recovery shots that I just said, that's it, he's done. No, he's not done. He's back in business. Willing home putts, willing home approach shots. I've never seen such a display from Tiger, even in his great days, because he put himself in jail again and again and again and got out of jail again and again and again. Now, we saw him contend at the British Open. You and I talked about it. He got all the way to 10 on Sunday. He took the lead, and right on schedule, he folded. Because we've seen this happen again and again. He teases us and he tumbles because he doesn't trust himself, or at least he didn't, under big stage major championship pressure. But yesterday, every time I thought he was going to fold, he willed home another putt. And yesterday, he did something. His 4-round score, 266, was the best he's ever shot in a major championship. His 130 over the last 2 days, which is 66 and 64, that broke the PGA record for Saturday and Sunday score. He didn't lose yesterday. He just got beaten by what's right now the physically and mentally toughest competitor on this planet in the sport of golf. And that's Brooks Koepka, who went NFL on the PGA just the way he went NFL on the U.S. Open the last 2 years. He just flat out overpowered it. He looks like a linebacker. He's got quarterback's touch. That's hard to beat. That's hard for Tiger to contend with because Tiger doesn't hit it nearly as far anymore as Brooks Koepka. Even when Tiger went to his irons off the tee, they weren't always straight. He's got to fix his driver, and this has been plaguing him now for about a dozen years straight. But I still believe with that will that I saw on display yesterday, that was the old Tiger. He finally flashed. He finally came back to life. That's the guy who's going to win a couple of more majors because I don't think Brooks Koepka can win them all from here on.
I disagree with you, Skip. I'm not convinced that he can win. For the very reason that you said you think he can is that, yeah, he putted the ball exceptional. He chipped the ball exceptional.
Exceptional.
But what has let him down over the past decade, Skip? That driver. When he needed it, you said on the British Open, had the lead on the back nine. And what did he do? Ping! What did he get up and do?
At least at the British Open, you can hit your irons more because they'll run forever, but go ahead.
But I look at hitting an iron off the tee as a drive. You just didn't use the big, and that's what's let him down.
You're conceding to the field.
Right.
You're conceding a lot of length. Yep.
And then what happened on what did he do on 17? When he need to make it happen, what happened, Skip?
Big four right. As Hank Haney, who wrote the book about Tiger Woods, called it, The Big Miss. That was the title of that book, and that was the title of that round yesterday. That was a big miss.
And we talked about it, Skip. I said, he's going to have to give himself a chance on opening day. If you look at him and you look at Brooks Koepka, Koepka's at 1 under, Tiger's at even par. Okay, so that's a one-stroke lead. He goes 63. Tiger goes 64. So he starts out with a one-shot lead, and he gets the one stroke, so that's the difference in the tournament, too.
You could argue that, although if you look at the first nine holes that those two players played, Brooks Koepka trailed Tiger Woods by 4 shots after their first 9 holes, each of theirs. But he bounced back strong with birdies on the back, and Tiger went bogey, double bogey on, I think it was 11 and 12 on his back 9, and there was the difference.
And then you look at Saturday, Skip, he has 12, 14-foot putt for eagle. Not only does he not get the eagle, he doesn't get the birdie. Skip, he
hadn't made anything all day, so he charged it 4 feet past, lipped it out, power lipped it.
Thank you. The old Tiger, and you mentioned that killer wheel. The thing is now, guys don't fear that anymore, Skip.
Skip, I'm not sure about that.
Did you see?
I'm not sure about that. I'm convinced now that Adam Scott and Justin Thomas, some of those guys, everybody except Koepka, fears Tiger Woods still. Because, listen, he took over the golf course yesterday. It sounded like a St. Louis Cardinals baseball home game.
It did.
It was craziness.
It was.
And I think it fueled Koepka because in his group, the last group, the gallery is meager because everybody's up following Tiger.
But he hears it.
You hear the roars. Whoosh,
he knows what's going on.
Whoosh,
yes.
Whoosh. Just huge roars. And every time they post a score on Koepka's scoreboard in his group, people in that gallery go crazy. So it was a big Tiger, quote unquote, home game. But Koepka doesn't seem afraid, even though he's a fan. He grew up a huge Tiger fan. huge Adam Scott fan, but he doesn't seem afraid of anybody. He seems emotionless.
I think the guys that were not on tour when Tiger was in his prime, they didn't get an opportunity to feel the full effect of what it's like to be on a course when Tiger's at his best.
Justin Thomas, who is really good right now, he said yesterday was the first time he'd experienced the Tiger roars where you heard them and they were different.
Right.
They were so loud, they detonated across the whole golf course, and it shook everybody up.
Right.
I thought Justin had a shot, and he just didn't fire. He just didn't.
But you look at Koepka, he gets to 17, he goes 338 right down the middle of the fairway. That's the difference, Skip. That used to be Tiger Woods. When
he is Tiger of old.
When he needed a big shot, when he needed a big drive, that's what Tiger could do. He could go 320 right in the middle of the green, game, set, match. And people are like, well, Tiger never shot 64. Skip, normally what happens when Tiger wins his majors, Tiger has the lead. So when you have the lead, you don't need to take these unnecessary risks in order to get you a 64, to get you a 63. He plays the course. Hey, if I have to par all the way through, boom, I win. I'm going to let you make the mistakes. Okay, Brooks Koepka, you do you, Tiger. I'm going to be back here. I'm going to do my thing. I'm not going to get all caught up in the Tiger. Whoa. It says like the Kentucky Derby, you stand on and when that roar goes and the horses make that final turn, Skip, so you can actually feel the roar of the crowd.
Been there many times.
I'm sure that's what it was like yesterday because they had never hadn't seen Tiger like this in a very long time. Coming home, he's charging. Guys like, man, whatever. Tiger, we're not worried about you. Skip, I'm not convinced that he can hit that driver consistently enough over 4 days. And that's the difference. Can he go low occasionally? Sure. But does he leap? He left himself too much damage. Because remember, Skip, he went even par. He went 4 under the next day. He was already 6 strokes back. So by the time he head to the weekend, he's 6 back. He has to go low in order to have a chance. And then in order for him to go low and have a chance, he has to pray they come back to him.
Just remember what Brooks Koepka did. With the pressure on and Tiger on the prowl, what did he do? He goes birdie, birdie on 15 and especially on 16. It's a long par 3. It's 248 yards. I'd have to hit my driver on that and probably still not have a chance.
Most people hitting driver or 3 would.
Yeah. And he hits 4-iron to 7 feet and makes it, and it's just game over. It's too good. It's a bogey hole. It's a hole you could really get in quick trouble, especially under pressure. And he just said, no, watch this. It's one of the great pressure shots you will ever see because he's got Adam Scott breathing down his neck in his same final twosome, right?
Yes.
And Adam Scott did wind up on 17 with about an 11-foot putt for a birdie that could have made it at least interesting going to 18. It'd been a shot back. But Brooks Koepka is just too good right now. And remember, Brooks Koepka missed the Masters this year, because he had a wrist injury that he thought was maybe going to be career-threatening to him. He missed 4 months of sitting on the couch, and he talked about, it's almost like one guy's got spinal fusion, but the other guy's got a wrist injury. And as you know, trying to swing a golf club, if your wrist is completely wrong, if you can't get it right, you're just done.
Right.
And he wasn't sure he was ever going to be right, and then he bounced back to do that. And remember, Brooks Koepka has been really good in the Masters. He's played it the previous 3 years, and he went 33rd, 21st, and 11th. So he's just, you know what's
trending in the right direction.
He's trending, and Tiger's trending in the right direction. And now we have to wait all the way to next April to see the showdown, because this could be a showdown between these two. But I'm with you on the driver point. My only point about Tiger is, since he burst onto the scene because of his drive.
Yes.
He was the longest.
We've never seen anything like it.
He's hitting it off the planet. They're having to Tigerize golf courses.
Tiger-proof it.
including Augusta National.
Yes.
We got to move the tees back, which is probably not the smartest thing to do because it just actually increased his advantage.
Right.
The farther you move the tees back, you ought to actually move them forward so that it makes it harder to hit the
driver off.
Right? But anyway, they went the other way. Tiger-proof going backwards. And yet, he started to get wayward with the driver, and it didn't matter. I remind you at Torrey Pines when he won his last major in the U.S. Open on a quote-unquote broken leg. He had a stress fracture in his thigh and in his
shin, right?
Shin, yeah, and his shin bone, I believe it was. But the point was, He's hitting his driver all over the lot in San Diego at Torrey Pines. The rough wasn't nearly as high as this rough was, but he can get away with it because of his escape artistry, and I saw it on full display yesterday. It's just will. He just wills golf balls out of trouble into contention.
Well, the thing is now, Skip, whereas before when Tiger was in his prime and say like the first 10, 12, 11 years of his career, he was one or two golfers that could overpower the golf course. They got 10, 12 guys now that can overpower the golf course.
Yeah.
You got DJ who played terrible. DJ can go 375. Koepka. You got all these guys. Justin Thomas not as long, but they'll.
Yes, he is.
But
he is. Trust me.
But
For
they
his
hit
size,
it.
whew.
You know what, Skip? They hit it straight. And Tiger might have to concede. You know what? Instead of trying to go 315, let me go 290 and keep it in the fairway. You going 300 and putting it in the rough. What good is that?
Yeah, I know. You know, this drives me crazy about Tiger with his driver because he has such high golf IQ. I saw Paul Azinger, our golf analyst, at a Fox event about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And we sat down and talked. And I said, why can't Tiger hit his driver? And he said, I don't know. It's the most baffling phenomenon in the history of golf that a guy this good with every other club in his bag can't hit his driver straight, because he missed yesterday way left, as we saw on 9, when he escaped with a 9-iron out. He got a break on 9 because it was over on sort of the beaten down path. And then to your point, on 17, he hits a big balloon because he's so late to the ball. It's a big balloon to the right. So he can miss way left or way right.
Is he overcompensating?
It's just, it's not that hard to hit a driver straight if you're as good as Tiger Woods. But for some reason, I think he's got a mental block. And remember, he had to overcome a chips yip mental block. Remember when he couldn't chip the ball? He'd be, 5 yards off the green and chip it 10 yards over the green?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. But you got all these guys now that can overpower the golf ball. Jordan Spieth, Skip, he wins. Hell, he can't outdrive me.
Nope.
And
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, he can't outdrive my man. I don't know where mine's going to go. I mean, he knows exactly where his is going to go. But
I would like to set up a long dry contest between you and Jordan Spieth, because my money would be on Spieth.
Skip, you bet against your boy.
Just on technique. The technique would be.
I'm telling you, Skip. I'm real, these abs, I mean, I just blow them out, Skip, because they're real tight right now, so that they ain't going to cause me. But, I might eat a couple of donuts or something, let my abs get lax, and then 305.
Really?
Yeah, 305.
Now, your brother, I would give a shot.
Oh, no, my brother, I drive Jordan Spieth.
I know he would.
He would. But that's what concerns me, Skip. I can tell you this, I think he feels better about this tournament than any tournament that he's played, even the ones that he's won in, say, the last 3 years, because this gave him hope. To go 66, 64, and he's never done that before, even in his absolute prime, Skip, that's like, you know what? Hey, I can really do something. But, Skip, he got to go back in that. He got to work on that driver. You got to give yourself a chance. The thing is, from coming behind, when you come from behind and you're making everything, you got to hope the other guys falter. You look at New England, Skip, when they came from 25 points down, yeah, they scored points, but it also took Atlanta to do some things that helped New England along the way. Well, he's not getting any help because Koepka was like, I'm not helping you. And the next thing you know, he goes 66. Koepka could have easily gone par. He could have easily gone 60. Skip, he went 66. So it wasn't like, Tiger went 64 and Koepka held on. He went 66.
But it took 15 and 16 birdies to get down to 66.
But when have you ever seen someone do what he did when the crowd is in an uproar, when it was in a frenzy? Skip, this is the World Series. I'm sure it felt like the Cardinals playing the World Series, how ruckus the crowd was. They're roaring and shuffling around, and the cameras, everybody's, man, you see Tiger, they flip the board, and he looks up there like, whoa, that's Tiger. You're like, and guess what? Trophy coming home with me. All the other guys would have folded. Let that have been Sergio 10 years ago, Skip. Let that have been any of the guys 10 years ago. It's over.
Let it have been anybody now except for this guy. This guy's got cold-blooded assassin in him. He's got emotionless. He's got killer will of his own. It's different than Tiger's because it's not emotion-driven. It's just methodical. It's almost like Hitman, like he just knows exactly what he needs to do to hit you.
Yeah.
And he hits you when you don't even see it coming. But Tiger Woods has some intangible in him that we have rarely seen in sports before, in any sport. And that's the intangible with which he dominated golf for that sort of 4-year stretch in there from like 99 to 2002-ish, right in there. It was unbelievable because he owned golf psychologically. And I saw that come back out yesterday. He's just going to have to deal with Brooks Koepka. But you know and I know, golf is weird. There are tournaments where you just don't play well. The course doesn't fit your eye. True. I'm going to give Tiger a shot because I didn't think he'd have a shot at Belle Reve. It didn't seem to set up right for him. He should have won yesterday. It will be underrated just how clutch Brooks Koepka was on 15 and 16 to hold off Tiger Woods. Because a lot of guys, I don't think Justin Thomas would have held him off in the same situation. I don't think Dustin Johnson would have held him off in the same situation. It took this guy who his girlfriend runs up to him at the end when he wins, and he's just kind of like, hi. Then his mom was there, and he didn't even know his mom had come, and he was like, hi.
Yeah.
He was focused.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
I did this. Yep.
So.
Not surprised.
Okay, Skip. Well, now we get what? The FedEx Cup. We get the Ryder Cup. Hopefully he makes that, and then we get the big show.
He's golden in the Ryder Cup.
Then we get the match play between him and Phil for $10 million.
That's a joke to me.
What you mean that's a joke?
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, I got Tiger.
Oh.
Phil has always played well against him, but Phil doesn't look good to me now. Phil's let himself go way out of shape.
Hey,
he missed the cut.
It's just something about Phil be making up his money on Monday through Wednesdays, playing everybody else, taking their money.
Well, maybe if it's just gambler versus gambler, maybe you give Phil a shot.
Well, it's different. Tiger. You know what it would be different if each guy had to put up his own $10 million.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? This is sponsors' money. So it's just like a tournament, Skip. This is tournament golf to them because, I want to win, but it's not my $10 million. You got to put a man to the test with his own money to get the true test to see what's really going
I agree.
on.
So bottom line of this, I'm still amazed by the Tiger effect. I'm a golf nut, and I've always watched with or without Tiger. But he has once again put golf back on the national sports map in a way that it was not without Tiger. It just was not.
You watch golf, but you're not planning your day around Brooks Koepka. No. You're not planning your day around Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas or Rory McIlroy. This guy...
Okay, I will, but most people won't.
The hardened golfer will. Not. But Tiger Woods will make you... If you got something planned, hey, I'm going to be a little late today.
Yep. I think a lot of people were a little late.
That's what that guy will do.
He will do it.
And it's better for the game to have him back
Yeah.
because that was the most excited I've ever been watching some golf. Okay, will the Broncos regret not getting Kirk Cousins? And why are the Jags suspending their own players? We'll discuss all that next.
No mercy.
Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum were both in new uniforms for the preseason debut Saturday. Cousins only played one series, but he made a great first impression, going a perfect 4 for 4, including a touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs. And, the new Bronco, Keenum only completed one pass for 5 yards in the loss for Denver. Shannon, who will have the better season, Cousins or Keenum?
First Cousins. He's a better player. He's a better player. He's a better quarterback. No matter what you think of him, is he overrated? Is he overpaid? He's a better player than Case Keenum. We have a 3-year body of work on Kirk Cousins.
We do?
Case Keenum has been a career backup. Normally, career backups in year 6 or 7 all of a sudden don't get better and lead teams to Super Bowls. That doesn't happen. Now Nick Foles, we talked about 3 or 4 games. That's one thing. You're talking about from start to finish, and that's what the Broncos are asking Case Keenum to do. Now they had an opportunity to possibly get First Cousins, but they realized the price was a little bit more than what they wanted to spend. 3 years, $84 million, fully guaranteed.
Why didn't you do it? Huh? You love him.
Hey, man. Hey, Skip.
You run the Broncos.
My money jumped funny.
You got your Broncos. That's your Broncos colors today, right?
Yeah, I got the blue on, Skip. No.
Okay.
The Kirk was going to cost a little bit more than we cared to spend at that point in time.
Yeah.
The bigger problem is, there are some concerns for Keenum, but the backup Paxton Lynch. Skip, at this point in time, hell, I'll take former Attorney General Loretta Lynch to play backup quarterback over Paxton Lynch.
Boy, now that was a reach.
Skip, at some point in time, we got to come to the realization. He can't play.
He just can't play.
Dude can't play dead in a horror movie, Jenny.
Who picked him?
I don't know who picked him, Skip.
That is.
I don't know who picked him.
I think
you tried to get me in trouble. Skip, I used to go to Denver, go to this certain restaurant and eat. You tried to revoke my meal privilege.
I'm going to revoke your parking pass. That's what I'm going to get. I'm after that parking pass.
John.
You're going to have to pay your way into Mile High.
Look, he missed on Brock, he missed on Paxton.
I'd say.
I mean,
where do you put Trevor Siemian in there?
He was a seventh round draft pick.
All right.
Skip, he's a great backup. You look at him when he came in after First Cousins, he was dealing. But when you ask him to 3 or 4 games, Trevor Siemian's your guy. Till the starter comes back, he's your guy. But you're not asking him to win on a long-term basis. But back to our original, Kirk Cousins is a better player. Skip, now, Pro Football Focus, or was it Bleacher Report, say they had the #1 receiving corps. So now you factor that in with Dalvin Cook. Let me tell you how good Dalvin Cook was. Before he got hurt, he was going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He was.
Not Alvin Kamara. Now, Kamara came on like gangbusters.
It would have been close.
It would have been But now you get Cook back, who can do a lot of the things that Kamara could do.
I thought Latavius Murray looked pretty good.
Latavius Murray can run the ball. So you look at Thielen, you look at Diggs, you look at Kyle Rudolph, you look at Cook, you look at Murray. The question is, can that offensive line hold up? That's going to be defensively. Skip, they loaded. They can come get you. The Rams defense can come get you. The Eagles defense can come get you. They also have offense that can put points on the board. So when you look at it, say 8 of the top 10, 10 of the top 12 teams reside in the NFC. The one thing you don't, and most of these can come get your quarterback. So can Kirk get the job done? Sure. But out of those two, is this a question? I don't even think it's
huge question.
No,
yes.
no, it's not.
It is a question because Jenny asked it, and Jenny Taft from Minneapolis, Minnesota, is not going to like my answer to this question.
I'm not going to like it.
Because I'm going to completely throw out everything I saw on Saturday night. Kirk Cousins has been, for the last 5 years, the biggest tease in all of sports, an even bigger tease than Tiger Woods, because Kirk Cousins can't really back it up when he needs to.
He will.
Kirk Cousins is now the most overpaid quarterback in the history of pro football. Kirk Cousins will not have quite as good a year this year as Case Keenum has for the Denver Broncos. And obviously it helps when you have Diggs and Thielen. You'd say that's advantage, slight advantage, at least maybe big advantage, Minnesota. Well, Demaryius is still there, and Emmanuel's still there. They pretty good? Still pretty good, right? And that Cortland Sutton that I wanted the Cowboys to draft, you got him, right? Is he pretty good? I don't know. I think he could be really good.
They've been raving about him in practice.
I know it. Devontae Booker carrying the ball? I don't know. Is he Dalvin Cook? No.
No.
But my question
They
is...
like Freeman. Royce Freeman had a big run. They like him.
Okay. My question is, I wonder how much Case Keenum helped Diggs and Thielen be Diggs and Thielen. Maybe you're underestimating just how good he really was last year. Maybe they didn't make him. Maybe he helped make them. I see a Case Keenum who has more moxie than Kirk Cousins. I see a Case Keenum with more clutch guts than Kirk Cousins has. Who created the Miami Miracle? The Minnesota Miracle, not the Miami Miracle. Who did that? Who made that throw?
It was Case.
It was Case Keenum. And it was a really good throw. He had to pick, which way am I going to go? Am I going to go underneath the Rudolph, or am I going to go to my third receiver up the...
But let me ask you a question. Do you believe that very throw that Kirk couldn't have made it? I believe
not at that point.
Oh, so you believe under duress, he couldn't have made that throw?
So I'm going to have to haul out my favorite stats again.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins, as the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins, was 26, 30, and 1. That's 4 games under 500.
Yes.
Against his arch rival, the Dallas Cowboys, in their biggest games. Trust me, I lived in the middle of that rivalry for years and years. It's a big deal in Dallas, and especially it's an even bigger deal in Washington. And Kirk Cousins went 1-6 against the Cowboys. Kirk Cousins lost all 4 home games he played against the Dallas Cowboys. He lost all 4 games he played against Dak Prescott. And you gave him $28 million a year guaranteed? Seriously? Really?
So look what he's up against, Skip. Look at the guy that he's across from. He's still better than Case Keenum. Is he overpaid, Skip? We're not debating that.
Yeah. So last year, Case Keenum had a QBR of 71. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That was second in the league last year. You got to have some game to have a 71. I get it. Diggs and Thielen. I get it.
Rudolph,
Yeah,
Dalvin
okay.
Cook for
All
a little
right,
while.
A little while. 71. Kirk Cousins last year had a 51 QBR. That's 20 points higher for Case Keenum. And by the way, that finished 16th in the NFL for Kirk Cousins, and it trailed Mariota and Bortles and McCown and Tyrod Taylor. I don't know.
If you don't
got
mind,
$28 million on that?
Let's just say,
what are you doing?
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, they would have taken Thielen and Diggs away, and Kyle Rudolph would have been hurt, like Pierre Garçon, like Deshaun Jackson, like Reed, like they got hurt, and his offensive line was in shambles. What do you think Case Keenum would have done? Because that's what he was up against. Think about it. At every turn, Washington did everything they could to make sure this young man failed. We're going to get rid of Deshaun Jackson. Why? I don't know, but it seems like a good idea. We're gonna get rid of Pierre Garçon. Why? I don't know. Seems like a good idea. Reed can't stay healthy. He's a top 2 or 3 tight end in all of football when he's healthy and on the field. But for whatever reason, Skip, he can't get there and stay there. Offensive line, I mean, the dude went to Seattle. He beat Seattle in Seattle with 4 backups.
He'll have those games occasionally. In the end, he just leaves you flat and disappointed.
He came out to L.A. and he beat the Rams.
Lost twice to the Cowboys.
Okay, I get that, Skip. We're not debating whether or not is $28 million too much for Kirk Cousins. Maybe, but the Minnesota says, or they're saying to themselves, we have a Super Bowl caliber offense, defense, and special teams. The only position that's holding us back is quarterback, because there's no way, if you thought that guy, Case Keenum, could take you to the Super Bowl, you could have had him for $10 million per year cheaper. You could have had him for 3 years at $50 million guaranteed, as opposed to 3 years, $84 fully guaranteed for Kirk. So they see these guys, they saw Case every day in practice, saw him in preseason, saw him in OTAs, and they say, you know what? This is as far as he can take us. This is the end of the line.
Yeah, people make mistakes in this league every day, and that's a mistake.
No.
It's okay to say Case Keenum isn't quite good enough to take us all the way home.
Well, what the hell are we playing for?
Yeah, but it's not okay to say Kirk Cousins can take us over the top.
Over.
Really?
Over.
What if I told you about him from the very start? He's an talented overachiever. That's what he is, and he's never quite sure of himself. He gets a little skittish in the pocket. He gets a little wide-eyed. The higher the stakes, the more likely he is to make mistakes. He is a mistake maker. Case Keenum is a play maker. He'll make occasional mistakes, but he makes more plays than mistakes. Kirk can throw it. He can wing it, man.
Yeah.
And then when you least expect it, he just implodes.
They have to be the favorite. Skip, they're loaded. Look at that defense.
They're loaded. They're loaded. It all comes down to the quarterback.
Yes.
Nobody in the National Football League has more pressure on him this year than that guy.
I'll agree.
Kirk Cousins.
Well,
Kirk Cousins.
Just a quick little
RK. First of all, no, he has the most pressure for the next 3 years because all this team is really tied up. Everybody on defense is signed for an extended period of time. They tied up Diggs. Rudolph is still under contract. Thielen. So, no. He's just not under pressure this year. Oh, as long as he's there, because they got all these other guys tied up. Oh, he's under immense pressure.
So let's look at Minnesota's first 5 games, shall we?
I was going to bring that up.
So they start at home with the 49ers. I'm going to give Kirk Cousins a big game there. I think he might have a big splash, and Minnesota says, Super Bowl, here we come. And we'll have a whole week here on Undisputed of Kirk Cousins.
You gonna try to shoot it down?
No, I won't. I'll just sit over here and just be quiet.
No.
Smile.
Let me tell you what you'll do, Skip. He'll throw for 450 yards, have 4 touchdowns, and you'll bring up he was 0-4 against my Cowboys. That's what you'll do. I know you.
1-6.
Okay,
get it right. The next week, Kirk Cousins has to play Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. I think that's a big L and a big disaster.
Now you like Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden.
I just don't like Kirk Cousins.
It's not easy.
And then the next week they get the Bills back home, and I think it's a bounce-back game for Kirk Cousins. It'll be pretty good, and they'll be 2-1. Hey, Super Bowl, here we come. Then they have to go to the Rams on a Thursday night. Big L, big disaster coming. And then they have to go to the Eagles. Big L, big disaster for Kirk Cousins. And all of a sudden you're looking, Jenny, at 2-3 in the first 5 games. That's no good.
You know what? Skip does a lot just like players do. Because when the schedule come out, the players be looking like, oh, man, we should get a win here, get a win there.
But here, I don't
know about that one. Ooh, you should get.
Yeah. So now let's look at the Case Keenum schedule in the first 5 games. Your Broncos.
Yes.
Now you're having to root against your Broncos because
I-
you're
what am
rooting
I-
for Kirk Cousins
I ain't rooting
against Case.
Hold on, no, I'm
Yes,
not
you
rooting.
are. You're backed into a corner once again.
No, I'm not rooting
You are
for
in
it.
big trouble because this is 5 weeks. It goes like this for Case Keenum and your Broncos. Seattle at home, I think they win that game. Raiders at home, it'll be a big test for John Gruden.
Rivalry game, division game,
I
yes.
know, but I got Denver winning that
Okay.
game. Then at Baltimore, I don't know, that's kind of a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
I could see with the little quarterback controversy brewing over here in Baltimore
Yes.
with Fluco, I could see Denver stealing that game. Then they come home, play Kansas City on a Monday night. Huge division game. I don't know. I could see Case Keenum winning that game against the kid who's Mahomes, who's now playing.
It is very, very important for the Broncos to get off to a great start in the first month because, as you mentioned,
I know.
3 of their first 4 games are at home, which means on the tail end, the last month of the season, 3 of the 4 will probably be on the road.
Game number 5 is Jets at home. Sam Darnold probably be the quarterback. I kind of like Case Keenum. Is it possible Denver could get off to a 5-0 start while Kirk Cousins is 2-3? That would not look good for the Minnesota Vikings.
But you have to realize, Skip.
Or me.
What
you?
Does not
Good
look
point.
good.
what is history and what does averages say about Case Keenum? History says he's average. His record says he's
History
average.
says 71 last year in QBR for the Minnesota
That ain't no
Vikings.
history. That's 1 year.
Wow. History says Minnesota miracle. That's what it says.
You know
I
what?
don't know.
So you gonna take one play?
I'm taking 1 year.
You know what? You ought to.
You know
stop.
what? I think you're backpedaling.
In that risk
I think you're afraid
on
this
that
is
Thanksgiving
coming.
on that Thanksgiving Day game, who was that? Stoner that had that great game. They ended up beating Washington. He came in and they won like 24-23. That's
Which game are you talking about?
it was like a Thanksgiving Day game, Washington back in the 70s.
Oh, back in the 70s?
Yeah, Clint Stoner. Wasn't it?
Clint Longley.
Clint Longley. That's
Oh.
what it was. Yeah, Clint Longley.
Oh, okay.
Clint Longley. 1 game, Skip. 1 game. That's what he's known for. Case Keenum, he'll forever be known for the Minnesota
But
Miracle.
then Clint Longley made the mistake of sucker punching Roger Staubach in the next training camp, and Roger took him right outside and shut him up. And that was the last we heard of Clint Longley.
I mean, how you sucker punch somebody the man didn't turn around and beat you up?
Well, that's what I said. Staubach beat him up. He did more than beat him up.
Well, Cousins and the Vikings are back in action on Saturday when they host the Jaguars.
No mercy.
Speaking of the Jags, they've suspended defensive back Jalen Ramsey and defensive end Dante Fowler for 1 week each for violating team rules. Fowler was suspended because of a fight with a teammate at practice yesterday, and Ramsey was suspended because of his reaction on social media to a reporter who recorded Fowler's fight on his phone. Ramsey tweeted at the Jags reporter, quote, Philip Heilman, you know, you messed up, right? LOL. If y'all want war, we've got some for y'all. And I know the rest of y'all. You know who you are going to read this too. So just so you know, hashtag lame ass reporters. Then Ramsey added, quote, I'm always going to take up for my teammates because I know what type of men and players they are for real. Love my dogs. If you don't like it, oh well, God bless. Shannon, were these suspensions fair?
No. And as I tweeted at Jalen Ramsey last night, only the President of the United States can attack the media, both publicly with no repercussions, Skip, baby.
So you're still saying it's not fair. You got suspended.
Whoa, no, because here, my thing is, Skip, look, I get it. And I get what Jalen is saying, is Jalen's like, and what players are having to learn the hard way, the media is not your friend. Skip, when they have those open, they have that 10 minutes before practice, and they're out there filming, and they have like the end of once practice ends, they let them back in, they start taping again. So anything that they get, they feel is fair game. You didn't tell them that they figure anything then is fair game. So it's not off the record.
They're not on your team.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's going to get, Skip, if I just shoot and they go and pat and go or they doing some drill and walk through, nobody want to click on that. Nobody wants to see that. But if I tell you there's a fight going on between 2 defensive players at the Jags, now all of a sudden that's going to be news, going to be picked up all around the country, and it's going to get clicked on. Plus the fact Jalen Ramsey, he turns and he sees they're filming, You're like, man, cut that camera off. Now, could he have handled it better? Sure. But if I'm Jalen Ramsey, they're like, hey, don't get all upset. Because guess who they want to talk to on the defense every Sunday, Skip? Guess who they want to talk to during the week? Jalen Ramsey. Oh, my boy's here. I get you next week. That's how you do
I think he does that occasionally.
Jalen, you can't.
Not available.
Yeah, you can't do what the big guy does. You can't, Mr. Khan down there. See, I believe this is all Tom Coughlin, because we know Tom Coughlin is overreaction when it comes to discipline. He ain't won one game. I'm gonna do it for a whole week. That's kind of been his MO. Now it's been reported they had 11 straight days of padded practices. Temples get Jacksonville, Florida, South, North Florida. It's real hot down there.
It's real hot because it's not very far from where you grew up.
It's not very far. It's about 90 minutes from where I grew up. Skip, is real hot. And it's muggy. And you in pads. And the tempers are, like, man, I don't want to be here. Somebody said something I ain't like. Man, what you talking about, bruh? Okay, let's do this. I'm tired of your mouth. You be talking the whole practice. Normally we don't see offensive players go at offensive players, defensive players go at defensive players. Normally in training camp, it's vice versa. So this is unknown. But Jalen made the mistake of thinking that Jacksonville media, Jacksonville Jaguars, we're one. No, the media's here. You're there. They're going to do what they do. But I do think that 1 week was far too long. Now think about this, Jenny. We're holding NFL players to a higher standard than we hold the very guy, the President of the United States. We hold them to a higher standard.
Can he be suspended for a week?
No. Well, if he were, Skip, put it like this here, Skip. If he were suspended every time he took a shot at the media, he would have no more time in office. He'd be done.
So, I disagree with you on this one. After I saw the first tweet from Jalen, I liked it, the tweet about, I got my players, I'm going to always have my players back. But then all of a sudden he goes cut deeper and he basically says, media, you want to go to war? We got war for you here. And then lame-ass reporters. No, that's a little too far. And remember who runs this organization now, Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
Right?
That's him.
He's about as old school disciplinarian as you can get. I thought he let Odell run a little amok occasionally, right? He could have sat him down during that game with Josh Norman, but he just let him go until he went completely over the edge. But still, Tom Coughlin is trying to bring some new order and discipline to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought the second tweet was just a little too far, and to suspend him just for a week during the preseason is not all that bad as a learning experience, as a grow-up experience, because let's look quickly at Jalen's background. In high school in the Nashville area, he was a superstar football player and track man.
Yes.
He shattered the Tennessee State long jump record when I think he was a junior when he shattered it, but he also threw the shot and he ran the 100, 200, and the 400. You know from your track days, that's a lot of stuff you're doing there, right?
That's exceptional.
That's exceptional. He was a 5-star recruit, and he was the first cornerback, true freshman cornerback at Florida State to start every game since time. Deion Sanders. Well, that's pretty great. You know?
And they've had some good ones come up out of there.
I would say. So he's the 5th overall pick in the draft, which is pretty great for a cornerback. And his second year in the league, he not only makes the Pro Bowl, last year he made first team All-Pro. That's big time.
Yes.
So they need him to be a maturing leader of this football team. So I thought it was time just to send a little message, and I think this is a little message. It's not like he's going to miss a real game.
Skip, just call him in and say, Jalen, we can't have that. But we see attacks on the media. Media is the enemy of the state.
Yep.
Now, lame ass media or enemy of the people? Now, which is worse? The constant assault that we see every day or this? And like I said, Skip, I'm not
compare him to the president. Is that what you're still doing?
Ooh.
Well, you can't do that.
That's what think about that, what you're saying, Skip.
But he's a member of a football team, and they're just trying to do business the correct way. They're trying to handle themselves correctly. because image is everything in the National Football League, and it's not a great look for the Jaguars to be going to war with the media.
Skip, when he says he's going to war, you know what that means.
Okay, but
we're going to shut it down.
When
We're
you
not
tweet
going to
something, it's forever. You know, it just sits there.
Yeah, we know.
Print.
When you tweet stuff, it's forever. That's
forever.
exactly you making my point, Skip. For when you tweet stuff, Jenny, it's forever because we know we love tweets. Tweets are documented. But here's the thing, Skip. Look, I get what and I'm not trying to excuse him of what he did, and I understand he made the mistake of thinking Jacksonville media, Jacksonville Jaguars, we're one. The Jags and the media are separate. They get this 10-minute footage before they get anything once practice is open. They feel it's fair game. It's kind of like you having a conversation. If I'm having a conversation with a reporter, if I'm just talking and I don't tell him it's off the record, everything that I tell him for the most part is going to be on the record. It's going to be in print, or he's going to repeat what I said.
That's true.
Well, that's not off the record. That's open practice.
Yeah.
If he shot that through the peephole, that's one thing, Skip. But that wasn't shot through a peephole. That was at an open practice. And like I said, Jalen, just talk it up as a lesson.
You realize Jalen's had issues going back and forth with not only this reporter, but the whole Jacksonville media for 2 years now. And the same reporter had tweeted earlier, and Jalen took exception with it, that he got beaten in a camp drill by DJ Chark, the rookie from LSU.
It happens.
And Jalen was not happy that he tweeted about it and tried to disclaim it a little bit. Well, you don't.
Well,
really
you're not.
understand.
First of all, you're not supposed to be tweeting about stuff like that as a reporter. What you see, I mean, that.
But
If it's open?
Camp practices are open.
If it's open,
I mean,
you
when
can.
I covered the Cowboys, you just went to the whole workout.
But you know what, Jalen? Trust me. You played that position. I don't care how great you are. You're going to get beat in practice. You're going to get beat in the game. It's okay. You can't become so sensitive that everything that the media tweets, you have to try and refute. Just go out there because at the end of the day, you know you one of the top 2 or 3 corners in all of football.
Yeah.
Don't get so caught up. That guy's in the NFL too for a reason, Skip. They didn't just grab the guy off the street and say, let me see you run around against Jalen Ramsey. That guy can play. There's a reason he's there.
I didn't really get to see him play at LSU very much because they didn't have anybody who could throw.
Exactly. But that's my point. And people get so caught up, oh, he beat such and such. That guy's in the NFL. They didn't grab him out the stands and say, put a uniform on and let's see if you can play football. These guys have been playing football all of their life. They get paid too. I think Skip is a true story. Mike asked me, like, well, Shannon, you got to beat that guy on that route. Mike Shanahan, my head coach. I said, Mike, you know what? He looking at me like, what? I said, they pay his ass too. You're not the only one that pay players here. He get paid too. He's in the league for a reason. Jalen, don't get caught up in all that. Well, he got, bro, you will get beat.
Jalen, just go play. And if you play the way you played last year, when the real games start, there's not much anybody can say.
But you know how corners are. They're the divas of the defense. They're going to talk, just like the receivers. They're going to talk. You just accept that. Now, Time was one of the few guys that didn't say a whole lot. He talked about he got all these flashy things.
He did.
Yeah.
He had his battles.
But he didn't talk about what he's going to do to certain guys.
No.
You just, when you cut the tape on, and you saw what he did.
Well, I saw what Jalen didn't do against Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game because in the fourth quarter, Tom Brady threw another party, 138 yards against the Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know how much Jalen was responsible. He and his
Well, he got a big pass interference call.
Well, he did.
It happens. If you play this game long enough, Skip, no matter what position you play, if you play an offensive lineman, there's going to be a defensive lineman that run by you. If you play defensive line, there's going to be an offensive line that get you, an offensive lineman that gets you off the ball. There's a reason that these guys are here. It's not like when you're at your old school where you're Ohio State playing Buffalo. No. These guys are everybody.
There was a reason Shannon Sharpe caught only 1 ball a game because all the rest of the time he would just shut down.
No. That was late in my career, Skip.
Okay.
No, early on. Big game. They used to call me Big Game.
Big game.
Big game. Then I got to be one play. Big play. Big game. Big game. They ain't want to see big game because I would go get 13. I get 12 for 156.
Should the Cowboys be running Dak Prescott? Sorry, Shannon. We can talk more about that later in preseason. We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Well, Dak Prescott only played one series in the Cowboys preseason opener last week, but he completed all 3 of his passes, including a TD to rookie Michael Gallup. Dak also had a 12-yard run, which may have been a surprise that he's running in the preseason. But Jason Garrett said there aren't restrictions on Dak and added, quote, "We tell him to go play." Shannon, should Jason Garrett be okay with Dak running in the preseason?
Yes, he's a football player. It's not like they're calling, Skip, they're not calling run from like Carolina called for Cam, quarterback ISO, quarterback power. He's going through his progression. Okay, 1, 2, dang, my check down's not even there. Okay, let me get out of the pocket. Now, I got my eyes downfield. Okay, there's nothing there. I'm taking off and run. I have no problem with that. His legs are an asset. They're a benefit. That's part of who Dak Prescott is. I don't want Dak or I don't want the Cowboys to make the mistake like RG3 made. His legs were one of his greatest asset. Then all of a sudden he wanted to be something that he totally wasn't. Dak, I believe, understands that I got these legs. I'm going to get out of harm's way. I'm not looking to run every time there's not a play there. I'm going to keep my eyes downfield in case something comes open, as we saw against Arizona last year, Skip, where he threw the ball over the top to Bryce Butler. That's what he's capable of doing. But I have no problem with a guy playing football. He's playing football. He went through his progression. There's nothing there. He took off and got a first down. Okay, call quarterback ISO or quarterback power. I got a problem with that. But him playing football, I got no problem with that.
I got a problem with your conclusion to this because I want to see quarterback power and quarterback ISO. I want to see read option. This is now Dak Prescott's team, and I was very happy to hear Jason Garrett even quickly dismiss any concerns he has about Dak's health. And I got to knock on this wood very hard over here before I say this. Dak Prescott is a gamer. He's a baller. He wants to play football his way, and his way is to occasionally run with the football.
Yeah, okay.
He can roll out much more than he did last year. He can run way more read options. I said over here last year, I don't know if you remember, I'm just pounding the desk. You have to run read options because if you can establish Dak Prescott at 6 feet 2 inches by 250 pounds as an occasional force of a runner, just occasional, I'm not saying every other play, just occasional, this offense is going to be very difficult to defend because you know and I know they're going to see a lot of 8 in the box, 8 men fly to Zeke.
Well,
right?
well, Skip, they don't call it zone read anymore. They call it RPO, run pass option.
Okay,
so you will see a lot of that.
Okay, but it's not even, I'm taking the pass out of it. It's still the zone read to me because I'm saying.
Oh, you want to run? You want a run?
Like ride and decide.
Yeah.
You know, like Tebow ran with Willis McGahee. Then, you know, stick it in. Hold on, read the defensive end, yank it, and go with it.
Skip.
If it's there. If you can get 7 or 8 yards and get down, I am fine with that.
But here's the thing. What teams started to do, they said, we'll let the running back have 10 yards, 15 yards. Terrell Suggs just wanted a shot at your quarterback. Von Miller just wanted his shot at the quarterback. Is that what you want?
Okay. Dak Prescott is just about as big as Terrell Suggs is.
Yeah, he is, though, Skip. But let me tell you what they're not used to doing, taking that kind of punishment like a running back. You don't want that guy. And see, that's what got rid of the zone read. Okay, yes, that's fine. Oh, it looks good. But when they started, because you got to realize that quarterback's a runner. He never takes a step back. So he's always a runner. So I can hit him even after he gives the ball up.
Do you realize who he's riding and deciding with? The best running back in football. So Mr. Suggs and others are going to have to make a big decision. I'll let Zeke go. I'll just let him go because I want a shot at the quarterback.
I'll let C.J. Mosley. I'll let Luke Kuechly.
Okay.
I'll let them worry about that. But in the meantime, I want my defensive ends. I want you to put that helmet up under Dak Prescott's chin. That's what I want you to do. Because remember, Skip, he's a runner.
I want Dak to put his helmet up under Terrell's.
Okay. You see how that works out.
Well, I'll see how it works out. He's 250 pounds, and he is solid.
Skip, I understand that.
Got to knock on wood.
But
help you.
quarterbacks are not built to take that kind of punishment down in and down out.
I got to tell you, this man is big and strong and has underrated acceleration because it's effortless acceleration. I'm not saying he's a blazer. He's not RG3. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not those guys. But they're not him either, because RG3, as much as I loved him, was a little willowy.
Oh, he's frail,
He was a little frail, a little fragile, a little, you know.
Yeah, he's 205 pounds, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. And he just couldn't figure out how to slide. He's so athletic, but he couldn't figure out how to put feet first and slide, because the game is rigged for the quarterback. If you get down, it's over. The play's over. Slide, everybody has to stop. Okay, so Dak Prescott. How many times did we see him roll out last year? Not nearly enough. Because when he did roll out, as we saw in the Arizona game, I don't know if we have that play, but remember the throw to Bryce Butler?
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
Roll out. You know, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and you like that, Skip. You like it.
Yeah.
You go through your progression.
Here we
Okay,
go.
1 to 2 to
That's
3.
just a scramble.
There's nothing there. Okay, throw the ball.
Yeah. But you know what? He is very accurate on the run. So now this is RPO. This is run pass option, where you roll him out, and if it's not there, just let him run for 5 or 6 or 7 yards. That works. That works to me.
If you notice, all the quarterbacks that was a heavy, they got the zone read. Cam, they're trying to graduate him from that. Russell Wilson, they graduated him from that. I don't know if the guy's already in a graduate class and they didn't do a whole lot of that, why you want to remediate him and put him back in that situation. Skip, Dak Prescott is at a situation now, they put a lot on his plate. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. They put enough on his plate his rookie year. He showed he can handle it. They added a little more, but they took Zeke away from him. So now he has Zeke back. I think you start to put more on his plate as far as passing the football. I'm not saying you don't say, Dak, look, we're going to make you a purely pocket passer. That's not what he is. That's not what he's ever going to be. But to put him in harm's way by taking unnecessary punishment, by zone reading him, I'm telling you, Skip, defensive ends, they love that.
Okay. Well, do they love quarterback draws? I don't know. I'll take a quarterback draw every once in a while.
Here's the thing. It all depends. Like you might see a quarterback draw, Skip, if it's, say you're at the 5-yard line.
3rd and goal.
Yeah. You're going to see that. Or something like that. Oh, yeah, I got no problem with it. It's just like in the middle of the field. If it's 3rd down, you're trying to keep them. There'll be times that they will call that. But that should be few and far between. Dak Prescott is a quarterback. Let him hand the ball off. He doesn't need to come out of the game with 8, 9 carries.
Well, you're going to see a very diversified attack here. You're
No,
going to see one that's very difficult to defend. Zeke goes for 8, then it's throw to Michael Gallup, then it's throw to Cole Beasley, then Dak runs for 8, and then all of a sudden he throws it to Allen Hurns, then he gives it back to Zeke, and all of a sudden the defense is just on its heels. Wait a minute, how do we stop all these?
You got a headset on. You over there calling plays. If it was only that easy.
Well, I could call plays for this offense.
Yeah, hand the ball to Zeke 35 times a game.
I'd be handing it to Dak about 8 times a game.
You hand the ball to Dak 8 times.
Call his number.
And you know what? You will. You let Dak run the ball 8 times a game, and within 2 years, you know what Dak will be? Over here.
RG3?
He'll be right here with us.
He'll be playing with a bunch of guys at the YMCA.
Yeah, exactly. Because they will break him up.
He's too big. He's too strong. He's a playmaker. He's a momentum builder.
If you don't mind me asking.
2 years ago, how did they go? They went as he went.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Is he bigger and stronger than Earl Campbell? No,
but
they broke him down.
Okay, but Earl Campbell just got hammered between the tackles play after play.
What do you think, Skip, what do you think they'll do? How many times can he take somebody putting their helmet up under his chin through the course of a game?
Well, I hope none.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what's going to happen if you run that zone read, because that's what they tell the defensive ends now. Because he's not a quarterback. He's a runner. And I can do whatever I want to the runner. You know that.
If even twice a game he gets loose on just a pure zone read where he pulls it back from Zeke and goes off tackle and nobody's home and he gets 8 yards and gets down, it just drives a defense crazy.
Well, now with the new helmet rule, you can't put that helmet on anybody. So you know what, Skip? They might go back and let them run. Now, I mean, these numbers are about to be off the chain.
Okay.
I mean, I watch guys, I'm like, the dude textbook formed him up in the Arizona game, and they threw a flag. So now we're about to have guys, Skip, that are just guys, and they're about to start throwing for 4. And we've seen that over the last. Because you look at all these guys, this guy threw for more yards than Elway. I'm like, really, guys? If you look at the way they're throwing the football around now, you actually think these guys are better than those guys, but it's just a sign of the time, Skip. Hey, So that might happen with the new helmet rule. You can't put the helmet on anybody.
Right. Thank you for closing my case. And Mr. Sharpe, I got bad news for you.
What?
The Dak attack is back.
I'm still picturing
Thank
Skip
you.
over
Dink
here
and
calling
dunk.
plays for the Cowboys.
The dink and dunk is back, huh?
Dak and dunk. All right?
Yeah.
I'll
Dak
take
dunk.
some of that.
Speaking of another quarterback, are we ready to call Sam Darnold a franchise QB? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
August 23rd on Fox, #1 pick Baker Mayfield takes on the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles in a preseason showdown. It's the Eagles and Browns August 23rd at 8 Eastern on Fox, or stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app. So speaking of rookie QB, Sam Darnold looked really good in his Jets debut on Friday night. He was the third quarterback in the game and went 13 for 18 with a touchdown pass in the win. And yesterday, Darnold got most of the reps in practice, which could mean he's on track to be the Week 1 starter. But head coach Todd Bowles said, quote, "I'm not going to jump to any conclusions after one game." Shannon, how impressive was good old Sam Darnold?
Well, I'll concur with Todd Bowles says. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but I did think he played well. Skip, I thought he moved a little better than I thought he could. I thought he threw the ball accurately on the move better than I thought he could. I thought he just had command. I thought his poise, his presence in the huddle, you can tell that he's a leader. And you like what you saw from him. Again, it's the preseason. When I look at the preseason, Skip, I'm looking at a guy, okay, let me see if there's anything that I can say it jumps off at me. That I can say, you know what, okay, I see, with given some time, right set of circumstances, this guy can be really good. He struck me as a guy that had that kind of ability, Skip. The way he can move, like I said, I didn't think he can move as well as he did in and out of the pocket, and I definitely didn't think he was going to be as accurate as he was throwing the ball on the move. But he showed me something. And although this is preseason, we'll see as it goes along. Teams will start to game plan a little bit more. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see, Skip, who gets the reps the third game. Because you can't give McCown, Bridgewater, and Sam Darnold the same amount of reps. Somebody's going to take the first two quarters against a scripted team. Now, that means it looks like Teddy Bridgewater will probably get moved on, because I think the thing is, what concerns you probably about Teddy, Skip, is that the injury history. He did miss 2 years because of the knee, and there's a concern because of concussions. Josh McCown has been in the league since 2000. People might not know that, Skip. He's been in the league since 2002. He's going into his 17th season. Never taken a team to the Super Bowl, to the playoffs. So this is why, and then people are like, well, Shannon, if you think Sam Darnold's in line to start, why not Baker Mayfield? I think their situations are entirely different.
You're reading Twitter again.
No. I'm just saying, because I've said I think Tyrod should start at least opening and move forward, but we still have 3 games to go. You said Tyrod, Baker shouldn't start, but why Sam Darnold?
That's a good question, Shannon. Why?
Because I think the thing is that Tyrod has proven he can take a team to the playoffs where the other 2 guys have not proven that. Josh McCown has had 16 years prior to show he could take a team. Teddy Bridgewater can't stay healthy long enough to get a team into the playoffs. So I think those situations.
So he got the Vikings to the playoffs.
So
won the game.
I believe, yeah, he did. What was that? When Blair, when the kicker missed that field goal.
Blair Witch Project, yeah.
Stop, Skip. That's harsh. You just being nasty now.
You remember that?
I don't want to remember it, though.
But Skip,
It was cold.
It was so
I just
bad.
think Darnold and what he's shown, and now obviously they feel more comfortable because he's taken a lot of the reps. So that tells you what they think of him.
Yep.
He's the last quarterback to sign, but he's the first quarterback to take the majority of the reps. So I think that should give you an indication of what they think of this young man, and he's on line to start Week 1.
So I fear that the Jets fans in our control room right now might just cut my microphone. So,
Wet.
I don't know. Ely, I really like Sam Darnold as a young man. Jenny's been around him.
Yeah.
He's really a good young man. High intangibles. But I do think, even though I'm not surprised that he played very well the other night, I think in the long run he will ultimately disappoint Jets fans. Because the guy I saw, especially over last year, but really it's 2 years, a year and something plus, right? I saw a guy who is such a good kid that he tries too hard. And the higher the stakes get, the more the expectations rise. He tries too hard and makes mistakes trying too hard. And I saw that last year because it was very interesting to me. The two new New York stars, Saquon and Sam Darnold, both became almost household names off one big game played right here in the LA area, which was the Rose Bowl of going back 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And in that game, Sam Darnold threw for 453 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Like a Rose Bowl record, isn't it?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And Saquon ran for 194 yards and a couple of touchdowns and caught 5 for 55 and had a couple of big kickoff returns. They were sensational. Mm-hmm. They arrived. That was a coming out party for both of those players and launched them into their final years of college football.
Correct.
Remember, Sam Darnold was Heisman Trophy front runner. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he had a pretty miserable year last year because he threw 13 picks and he had 8 fumbles lost, which led the nation. Most of it came from trying too hard to make the throw, hanging on to the ball too long, not just let it go. Just let it go.
Right.
Live to play another play. And his QBR wound up 38th in the nation, which is pretty terrible for his status.
Not good, yeah.
And Baker Mayfield, of course, led the nation in QBR. And I'm looking at some of these games that I remember. Let's start with the Ohio State game and the Cotton Bowl. He was just miserable in that game.
Oh, they got him.
They got him good. And then the loss at Notre Dame, low QBR. The game against Utah at home, only a 48 QBR on 0 to 100 scale. And then that game at Washington State, was that on a Friday night? I can't remember. Did you go to that one? You didn't that one. I can't remember. It was a night game, and I'm watching it, and Sam Darnold just came all apart, and Washington State upset USC. Mm-hmm. Well, I fear that's going to be his pattern because if he is the starter on day one, for the Jets, which would be fine. I don't have any problem with that. I just think he's one of those try-hard guys who gets a little panicky and a little over-anxious, and it'll be hard for him to grow into some poise that I didn't see from him in college.
Well, to agree with you, normally guys that have habits of turning the football over in college, they bring that with them to the NFL. Jameis Winston still has not figured how not to turn the football over in the worst opportune of times.
And you know what? I was a big Jameis fan coming out, or not huge, but I thought he should have been the first overall pick.
Right.
I seconded that emotion. And you know what? I'm about to give up on that one.
Yeah.
Because history is repeating in pro football.
He turns the ball over. It's going to be very interesting to see another guy, Skip, not to go too far off the topic, Deshaun Watson. He had a lot of turnovers in his last 2 years, especially that last year. He had 8 in 5 games. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see if he can take care of the football. But I think given what we know now with the way he played, and like I said, well, clearly, Todd Bowles is not heeding his own advice because he says he's not going to put too much into one game. Yet, after that game, he's taking the majority of the reps with the one. So clearly, he's putting more into the game than you and I would have put into the game because it's still a preseason. You want to see some things, but just stay on course. There's an opportunity. There's another game coming up, Thursday or Friday this week. You get another opportunity to take a look at him. You can see, you can always, you know what, hey, let Josh McCown or whomever's going to start, let them go 2 or 3 series. Okay, Sam, you take it from here. So you will get an opportunity to see. But the third game, for me, will be the telltale in who's going to be week 1 starter.
This kid, Sam Darnold, is the number 1 candidate to get wrecked this year if they throw him into the fire too quickly because he gets so down on himself so quickly that I'm not sure he could bounce back. Again, I know they need to give their fans some hope and something new and fresh to root for, but you got to be careful because the team around him will not be great.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be very good.
The thing is, Skip, they traded up 3 spots to move up into a position to take a quarterback. Now, I think they're very, very happy with Sam Darnold, but they thought, okay, Cleveland's going to possibly take a quarterback. So if they don't take Darnold, we might still be in play. But the Giants could have easily taken a quarterback and not batted an eye. Then what do? So I think they got Teddy Bridgewater as far as the insurance because if Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are gone, Now what do we do? Are we going to take Josh? Are we going to really take Josh Allen here? I don't really think they were sold on Josh Rosen. I don't think they were. Now, they could have been, Skip. And so I think Teddy Bridgewater was an insurance plan if they didn't get one of the two guys that they wanted, because they only could move up to third.
Yeah. So clearly, you were sold on just about all of them, right?
Yeah.
You had to be sold on a bunch of guys, or you can't risk that.
Right. So I think once Darnold fell in there, they're like, okay, thank you.
I think they were happy with that.
Absolutely. But like I said, I mean, Coach Todd Bowles says, I'm not going to get all carried away after one game. But come Sunday, he's taking the majority of the reps with the first team. So clearly, Skip, he got excited about one game.
He's got a good head on his shoulders, though. I think that you bring up the mistakes he made, those turnovers, but his supporting cast, there were injuries. I mean, there was a lot more that was going on with that team.
Well, that supporting cast right there, what he got right now.
I think he may miss USC pretty soon.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.